Hello, beautiful people. Your weekend commitment to keep you entertained, more important, informed over the day of every day for a 3-week lockdown period. Yes, your news before the news, your news before the news anchors that are those behind our mainstream media, the tentacle of the octopus that is wrapped around our face like a COVID-19 N95 mask and putting its money funnel down our throats and sucking the nutrients from our bellies, from the inside out, for the parasitic tendencies it represents. Welcome to a scene from Alien, where the beast is wrapped around your face and inhaling anything of any value from our meager, lean physical beings. On that optimistic note, I bring you the market sniper, the crypto sniper, the reset sniper, the man selling you a coffee mug with something cranky written on it in his merchandise department. Yes, treat anybody selling you a t-shirt as an oddball. Really don't mind if you choose not to buy, by the way. Someone said, let's throw some merchandise out. Right. So 25 likes already and 103 of you on, despite coming a little earlier in the day. UTC time, 10:25. That would be that of the United Kingdom. And here we are. Good to meet some of you. Yep, the fiscal package was way too small. More deflation to come, says Tiger. $1,200, please. Yes, he wants his cash. He wants his intimate little slice of the cash in terms of the total dilution that is being forced upon you. How's the audio? Let's hope the audio is good. We're doing it earlier, so you have a brighter view in the background. Let me introduce my backyard and jungle. Yes. Francesco says stream of thought. Yes, indeed, that'd be me. That'd be me and my Spanish guys, the rider of the seas, the discoverer of the Americas. And I know in the other flavor of Indians, I thought, as Francesco the Great. Anyway, this is reincarnated Francesco of the modern era, here to tell you how the slavery is about to tighten. Some people complaining of my style in the comments, too long-winded, too goofy, too trying to be funny, just get us the information as quick and as fast. So maybe it's time for me to pivot into a more bulleted, brief style. You tell me if you prefer. Francis in the Max Headroom Light version. Okay, so what do I have for you? Well, a number of things I've been saying was beautifully summarized in an article. So because I'm going to paraphrase their effort, you see, I don't organize my thoughts. I don't write them all down, put them on a whiteboard, shuffle them around, get them in the right order, and then deliver them. I'm just this stream of consciousness that flows out. Some of these things have been already said by me on my own forward-looking scenario casting view. And some of these things have already been better organized by other people. So let's run through them. This COVID-19, I hate that word, sorry, I didn't mean to say it. This pandemic, this created pandemic, whether through natural forces or by design, you make your own mind up on that. I'm not here to help you make it, is going to have the following repercussions. And I'm afraid if you're looking for a sprinkling of bright light on your weekend, I'm here to represent the darkness. Like every fantasy, it's just a fantasy, and there is a stark reality. If you understand the reality, you can cope with it better. If you want to be told sweet lies, cuddle up in your Stockholm syndrome to your captors and nuzzle against them in the desire to have favor, so that one day you hope and fear that they will spare you. Right, so what's happening? 13 key levels. better summarized by an article that I will put in the link at the end of the live stream. And I must credit the gentleman, authored by Andrew Corribico via One World Press. So check out Andrew Corribico. So that's K-O-R-Y, martial law. They've avoided utilizing this name, but in fact, what we've seen is a huge exercise in state overreach and power play. It's time for us all to submit to the men with guns, whether they be police, riot control, army, tanks, armored cars, police cars. It's time for the sheep to be shown who is the boss. The wolves at the perimeter of the kraal are baying, and we are all to cower down and lay low. This is part of forcing you to accept state control with draconian consequences if you do not. Point number one, we are under de facto martial law, whether it has been named as such or not. Okay, and this is recommended behavior, as if there is an alternative that will be tolerated. In fact, it's mandatory quarantines. It's a bunch of rules that you are to follow. We are seeing massive police overreach. I mentioned them yesterday. Derbyshire police in the UK trying to say a man can't walk his dogs in the peaks, in this huge barren peaks of heath and nothing else, where there's not a soul in sight. Now, point number two, is this becoming the new normal? So this lockdown, overreach of state, are these all going to become the new normal? Now, one thing that is the biggest lie that a police state ever tells you, that a fledgling Bolshevik empire of global reach ever tells you, is the word temporary. Particularly dishonest when associated to a tax or power over citizenry. Power over the citizenry. In fact, we are taking a pivot where the noose around our necks is being pulled tighter by your dark state and government, all with legitimate reasons, you understand. Whether these reasons be cultivated by them in the first place or not, they have seized the moment of the crisis. It is the new normal. That martial law, that indefinite period has been accepted by the people, will slowly be begrudgingly pushed on you. The new normal in terms of potential future lockdowns, and even any lifting of the lockdowns, certain laws will be retained so that they can quickly clamp down again without all the pre-hype and all the necessity and all the drama creation and all the media spin that they created and found necessary to introduce these lockdowns now. And every government, my friends, for those of you who thought you would have freedom in Russia, in China, as a counter access to the draconian West and European environments, every government is enforcing to varying degrees. There is very few nation states that will not be in some form of lockdown. It's time to go to the remoter islands with small governments and minimal police resources to see out your years potentially. So one, martial law. Two, it's becoming the new normal and will be reenacted many times, even when you get a let up of the current lockdowns. Three, the current lockdowns may be extended. And when they are released, they will only be partially unlocked. And there will be a new tension and visibility of armed, masked forces of state around things that you do. Number 3 of 13, and I'm going to give you 13 because the article has 13. They've summarized most of my thoughts before, and I will go through them in that order. Social media censorship to intensify. My good friends, this channel may not exist for much longer. I hope not. I hope to be proven wrong. Please remember, if we ever were to be taken down, themarketsniper.com, themarketsniper.com is where you'll find our website. It may take a little longer before the hackers destroy our website. And we will try and do what others have done and move to BitChute. And I would suggest to you that as the YouTube clampdown, if it is to happen, begins to happen, that you disperse into the lesser owned, lesser controlled, similar services such as Vimeo and BitChute, etc. But the social media censorship will intensify. Big Brother is already here. He is already listening to that which I say and many others, but he's going to become a bigger bully than before. We've already had pre-training the platform takedowns of Zero Hedge on Twitter, for example, of Alex Jones, controlled hangout that he may or may not be, and other people that speak out. You've seen the demonetization. These are going to become more intense. The censorship of people's social media posts on the basis that they're not socially responsible. I am a buccaneer stirring up a rebellion. I am potentially creating a counter message to government by suggesting how convenient it is that all these things have transpired, handing all this power to government. This is not a welcome observation to be shared with the flock of bleating sheep amongst myself. Who amongst you are more than just sheep and will stand up and make a bolt to escape the farm, the domestic farmland through which you have been contained? So number 3, social media censorship will intensify. Travel. Boy, am I glad I got a little bit of travel done just before. Travel will never be the same again. Like all these things, they've been doing drills and curtailing you. It's no surprise that in the States you had the TSA and all of these rigorous, aggressive routines. I traveled to America and I was bawled out repeatedly for not cooperating and pushing my case at the wrong time and not unpacking this and not take 300 people with me. All of us are now like that, and we've been trained. These are the drills that got you to accept earlier inconveniences and assertion of state over your travel. Domestic and even more so international travel will specifically not be the same again. Restrictions on movement because of the pandemic, you understand. You may be a carrier. We are doing this to protect you and the citizenry of the nation state you are visiting. It is a required impaction on your freedoms, you understand, so that we can stay epidemic free, because such is our love for the old ones that are currently bankrupting our pension system. Such is our love for them that we have to protect them from a carrier. And such is the nature of this disease. Even though you be not sick, you may be a carrier. And it has been designed such that you may be a carrier for weeks and weeks and not even know it. So even though you profess to be well and seek to travel to visit family members abroad, we have unfortunately a grave concern about your physical state. Although you are lucid of face and eye, there is still a concern. Yeah, border control to become more robust, legally or otherwise. Stringent controls to protect the local population from outsiders. Now, I spoke earlier of financial kettling. If you've been following the stream, I spoke of riot control and kettling, trapping you in areas that the riot police do physically, that they were doing to the gendarmes in France, the yellow vests, that they were doing in the London riots in Trafalgar Square, the kettling. This is national kettling of movement. They are squeezing the ventricles around the heart that allows the blood to flow through this beautiful world body, and they are restricting you into certain tighter places. It's going to become harder more expensive, more involved, more things will have to be proven. Card carrying aspects of a point I will be bringing in future as we work our way through number 13. All the way through to number 13, you will realize what will soon be required, and it will involve great compliance, both of you biometrically at a vaccination level and at many other levels. So there is a clue of what is coming next. Border controls, my friends, border controls. Your days of pick up and go, online, book that flight and fly wherever you will at any time you will with nothing more than a passport and a toothbrush are now soon to be gone. What else? That's number 5. Well, travel, that's number 4, and border control becoming way more robust is number 5. So travel will never be the same, and I associate that same border control never being the same, never being so light, so much more paperwork and compliance. We are going to be kettled financially in our banks. We are going to be kettled movement-wise in terms of national and international travel, and you are currently in lockdown being kettled locally into your homes and not much beyond your gardens without a rare visit for food or medical outside the boundaries of your home, traveling only alone in your vehicle. Those are the rules currently. So we move to number 6. Here chills my blood, my friends. Here chills my blood. I predicted it early. I predicted it as part of why this is a pandemic. You see, a disease, you see. And we always have a cure for a disease. The scientists in Israel and America are working on that cure. Roughly as the disease came out, Israel was surprisingly fast to declare that they already had a vaccine, but testing will see delays, you understand, due to FDA type requirements. So mandatory vaccines are coming. Number 6, the mark of the beast. Number 6, mandatory vaccines are coming. 1/3 part of taking the mark of the beast, as per the prophet over the people through Jerusalem, recently awarded to the state of Israel. For whatever one thinks about vaccines, there's probably no way to stop it if you seek to travel. Otherwise, your financial movements will be either further curtailed, you'll be confined, you will be held eventually to your home. Soon, grocery stores, cinemas, and nightclubs will not even allow people that do not prove that they have taken the vaccination, the poison they will inject, the mercury poison that will cap your life standards, undermine your immune system, and make you viable to be switched off, whether it be with another point coming later down, which will entail the internet and 5G. Yep, I'm afraid, people, we could be talking a major snap down and a major pivot towards the end of times, the 7 years of tribulation. Yep. So that is number 6, a very dark 6. It is indeed. Number 7, as a natural point of this, we need to avoid people from socializing and talking and communing. The internet showed that many people were suspicious of the events of 9/11, and they got to share information. They got to ask questions. They got to share videos and research and journalism of underground journalists. It's time we all became single and fractured and contained. Remote learning and working is going to super spike. It's going to go from being a small element to a macro element that absolutely dominates most people's lives. With so many people stuck at home and unable to leave except to purchase essential goods in vital instances, it's predictable that remote learning and working, the latter which of course will be for those with jobs only that survive and still have work, will pick up the coming future as society gets used to this way of doing things. In short, you will be given, eventually I could see, a day of the week for which you may have a window of certain time to do your personal shopping. Fail to utilize it, and you will have to wait till the following week. You will have a certain amount of time and you will have a certain amount of space to avoid overcrowding, you understand, in the shops and the risk of transmitting virus to your fellow citizen. You understand, always in the name of protecting you. You do understand, don't you? Yeah. So remote learning and working, and a restriction on movement eventually to just a window of opportunity where you can go out and do your shopping, maybe a weekend in the evenings that you can go out and do public eating, and almost eventually curfews and curtailment. Much less opportunity to share an interesting observation face to face with an old friend. I say to you, go out and hug your fellow brothers, mothers, sisters, and citizenry. Go out and feel confident. Do not let the natural social spirit of the human be demeaned into being categorized, compartmentalized, and sanitized into safe cells. Isn't it funny how Marvel has released 2 new characters called Snowflake and Safe Space? We are all going to hear the phrase safe space. Your home will become a vaccinated, clean, safe space where you know all the members of your family have taken the poison from the control structure in the arm and are deemed certified, scanned, and probably with a micro disc or chip inside you that proves your up-to-date status and approval to move in and out of public places as a non-contaminator. They will take your freedoms away and give them back to you as privileges with a transaction that sees you take the poison and the chip. Yep, my friends, that's what I see coming. So number 7 was remote working and learning. Almost as dangerous to many if you are following the dark state activity around 5G. 5G is inevitable. One of the consequences of us all staying home and working from home and learning from home and entertaining from home, one of the definite consequences is the escalation of 5G. A massive surge of online traffic. Who's had their web speeds fail? Who's had them dip during this period of lockdown? Is it not Netflix, our control structure mega entertainer of home, or Amazon with their streaming services, or Facebook, who have all said we will dip the intensity of the pixels so that services can be maintained as high usage is expected? Oh dear, you will have to compromise on the quality of the pixelations so that you can still have the entertaining, live streaming, internet power you need, as everybody surges online as they are curtailed in their safe space. Yes. This, of course, needs new internet, faster speeds, 100 times quicker. Cometh the hour, cometh the technology. What a coincidence. It's here, everybody. It's time for a rollout of 5th generation technology, along with your teensy-weensy little vaccine and everything they inject with it into your body, from chips to mercury and who knows what else. Yes, it will be globally available instantly in all governments and states. It must have been waiting in the wings. How did it know? I'm sure your vaccines will follow shortly, friends. Yep, and with it, your 5G internet technology. How coincidental that we have this technology arriving at a time when we have an explosion in home internet usage. Isn't that fascinating? I love coincidences. Society depends on just a few jobs to function. The new normal of martial law has made many people realize that society really just depends on a few jobs in order to continue functioning at the bare minimum. Techie, grocery store, pharmacy, bank clerks, healthcare professionals, food service, farmers, and truckers. Transport, basically. A lot of that to be automated in time, I'm sure. So there you have it, your IT, your provider of food at the grocery store retail level, your drugs, your pharmacy with their cures, through the big pharma institutions. How glad we should be to have big pharma and all their chemical cures for all our potential ailments, soon to provide vaccines and other options for your health needs. They are clearly essential. Bank clerks, healthcare professionals. Bank clerks, do we really need bank clerks? I see revolution in that space. Soon, we will be sending money real time, maybe on a block time, maybe on an e-dollar. Yes, my friends, taxed in real time too, I suspect. Yes, my friends. This will tie in with our poor friend cash that has been this vile proliferator of the virus, not, for example, your credit card that you pass. This somehow has escaped all forms of criticism, but cash is dangerous. Yeah, how is it not amusing that that little aspect has been highlighted too? So society depends on a few jobs to function. The rest, well, who knows? You may not have work. You may not have work. And the problem is when a lot of people don't have work, well, I'm going to skip number 10 and go to 11. What happens when a lot of people don't need work? Well, cometh the moment of mass unemployment, cometh the policy that has already been brain seeded. What about this radical new idea, a deal for our times, universal, aka everybody gets it, basic so that you can live and cover your rudimentary needs, income. How about that? Universal basic income for all. Now there's a radical idea. At number 11, payments for those whose jobs and industries have suddenly disappeared. No one can travel anymore. We await the vaccine solution. Travel agencies disappearing. As a result, airlines disappearing and reducing. Jobs being laid off. Automation. All of this is happening. What happens to all these otherwise good people? These are not the permanently lazy that are hiding behind fake disability that never intended to work. These are real people that wanted work, needed a place to go, wanted to earn their own income, wanted to be proud and self-sustaining, that now no longer can. We have the solution, my friends. Universal basic income. Communism, Bolshevik style for our times. Government will provide. Isn't that beautiful? Shouldn't we be grateful that there is a dark state in government that seeks to provide for us, even though they create nothing apart from ever expanding and putting their money jugulars down our throat and sucking every bit of sustenance, wealth that we create? They still will turn provider. Isn't that beautiful? Shouldn't we be grateful for the existence of government protecting us from pandemics and providing us with income when our industries disappear from all these random, uncorrelated, coincidental events that suddenly occur? Wow. I am in gratitude for our greater dark state and government for all that they are prepared to do in these emergency times. How well prepared and how amazingly foresightful they have been in already floating these ideas, preparing us mentally to accept our future universal basic income. Wow. Nationalization of almost everything may be imminent. So I've said this. I'm going back to point 10 on the article that I'm paraphrasing here. For better or worse, governments across the world might need to go on a nationalization spree. We need to do this, you understand. Here are industries that are required. They cannot be allowed to go bankrupt as a result of all these draconian lockdowns that we've been forced to do as a result of this unforeseen black swan pandemic that has emerged out of nowhere. At this point, we were going into recession and into a major depression. And now suddenly we have a confirmed depression. That means almost all but the strongest industries will still be gutted and on their knees for us to pick them up for pennies in the pound, you see, because we are the buyer of last resort, and we will sustain these industries. They will take regard and take hold of essential industries to protect the provision of all the necessities for their citizens that they love so dearly. Yes, my friends, they will nationalize the lot. Nationalization, and they will printing the creation of money, the power, the unique power given to our central banking cartel of criminals, crooks, and absolute thieves that are parasitic to their very core, are here to buy up your industry, your soon-to-be bankrupted job employer. Small, medium enterprises will be surrendered to big megacorps that will be bailed out. And we will have one world corporation for every major industry. How nice that shall be. How nice it shall be. How nice it shall be that natural little cottage nest industries will all be cleared out. And Starbucks alone will provide your coffee. Netflix alone will provide your entertainment. Amazon alone will be your retail everything online. The combination of SAB Miller and Anheuser-Busch will be the one world beer order. Magnificent. Think of the economies of scale. After all, Rockefeller by chance did once mention, competition is sin. Own the whole industry globally. Isn't that beautiful? Advance forward for all of us and our freedoms of choice. I shudder, my friends, at this notion. Point number 12, mandatory medical training in exchange for government benefits. Medical training is arguably more important than military service nowadays. So the state will probably make it mandatory in schools from here on out, and anyone who wants to receive government benefits, they're enabling the government to draft them into the future where there's a dearth of healthcare professionals. So I was subscripted into an army, a war machine, to uphold the then National Party pre-apartheid government of South Africa when I was in South Africa. For 2 years, I was given, my life was taken away from me. A certain male privilege, you understand, to have 2 years taken away from me. It was a white privilege. It was only on the whites. I feel privileged that I was so privileged to have 2 years of my life taken away, to fight to uphold the regime of the day. Anyone who says we face nothing but privilege should contemplate that fact. The women were 2 years forward in their careers when I came out. The others that will be the medical training, because now everybody is a disease center to be mistrusted. Every citizen you see is a harborer of a virus. And those no-vaxxer people are the rebels that will make everybody sick. Remember the very weird, was it the Golden Globes when they had people running out in the audience with syringes and ironically face masks, dressed as doctors and nurses, trying to vaccinate everybody in a big mockery of the no vaccine pushback? Isn't it ironic that the vaccine day comes? They will pay for you to rat out your brethren that refused the mark of the beast. They will pay. And everyone is to be trained on understanding the disease prevention that is now essential. And finally, my friends, number 13, it's been alluded to already, say goodbye to cash. The cashless society is here, whether justified by the real, false, or exaggerated lethal viruses that can be spread by the paper. Yes, the preferred method of dispensing universal basic income, my friends, you can rest assured, will not be cash. Meaning that the authorities can cut folks off at the simple drop of a finger. They can apply negative interest rates to their debt, and they can swing themselves around from having to pay usury on their own expanded debt to receiving usury for being indebted, and those savers be punished for saving. How incredible is it to be a lender to all and make money as the lender to all? And then when you become the biggest debt creator and debt holder, to spin the equation around and still be on the earning side as someone who now faces a negative interest rate for being the biggest borrower. And those that save and show real Protestant ethic, living within their means, working for every honest red penny, now are punished for their revulsion towards debt, interest, and stoicism and conservative finances. Now we can charge you because cash is gone. And I've given ideas how cash could have a two-tier structure as it's phased away. But number 13, my friends, is say goodbye to cash. So let me summarize the 13 unlucky events about to befall you. You face the de facto martial control as number 1. Number 2, it becomes the new normal, regularly being reasserted after short pauses where only some of the restrictions are lifted. Number 3, social media censorship and bullying and deplatforming intensifies to new heights. Number 4, travel will never be the same again. It will be harder and more difficult to do. Number 5, border control becomes even more robust and intense. Number 6, mandatory vaccines. Number 7, remote learning and working will increase, creating a great burden on the internet. Yes. Number 8, however, the solution to that problem, 5G, inevitable rollout and acceleration. It is required and needed and localized. Number 9, society depends on just a few jobs to function. The rest disappear, making so many people workless. Wait, we have a universal basic income at number 11 to support those people. Going back to number 10, we nationalize everything as all industries are destroyed by this unforeseen pandemic black swan. Number 12, mandatory medical training. Unlike the military, you now all need to become the masters of disease prevention and suspicion and monitoring of your fellow citizen. Is he clean, that he may be in my company before I touch him? Removing all social touch and interaction with those around you. Say goodbye to your cash, my friend, and I extend that to negative interest rates. That is the 13 great freedom impinges that you will be facing. That is the short version. 470 of you. That's massive for this time in the morning. I appreciate you. 129 likes. That is approximately about 22.5%. I would like to push that up to the 61.8 because I am a Fibonacci-based trader, amongst other things, as well as a pattern-based trader. So hit up those likes, hit up that. Let's have a little look at the comments and what saith the man, what saith the men of their forthcoming imprisonership. Yeah, who will fix their machines? No vaxxers present. Who will fix, who will heal and feed them? Oh, they don't need 9 billion to fix the machines. They need only the hardest working, smartest slaves. They do not need all of the cattle. In my little country, they want to activate our army to have a police like a power of attorney. Oh, guys, we are attacked by a virus, not by a country. Mixed Gears says, it's written in the Bible that no one will ever control the world. All that have tried have failed. Nonsense, says Joe Han. He sees the control over the planets tightening, ever smarter coming. Daniel OJ, they already won all the commodities. JP Morgan's have billions of ounces of gold. Stephen Gravac, just don't buy the programming, he says. Well, the programming is inevitable. The restrictions on your movement, if you do not comply, will be inevitable. You will have to make a choice between freedom of movement and taking the mark of the dark state beast. Yeah. Films or documentaries. Watch The Matrix, says Daniel OJ again. Mixer, are you drunk? Yes, maybe. The powers that be, new world will be beautiful, says I Ballistic Cat. It may be for those that care not for their freedoms and are happy to comply. For the rest of us, it does not feel beautiful. Blah, 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 these people need us more than we need them, says Goshko Hubaveka. I'm not so sure of your critical value, Mr. Goshko. I'm not so sure if they need 9 billion of you. One world where all are equal, says Ye Buddy. Indeed. Can see the great leveling, can see dollar going back to gold standard. They only need you to believe that they are really powerful. Grow food if you have a garden. There is no cavalry to save you. You are the cavalry. You don't know it. There is no Messiah coming specifically to save you. They tell you that, so you stand passively by and wait for a shining light of a man from the skies with a sword that's lays to waste all of these savages. But I am afraid, my friends, you are the master of your own destiny. Your own Vedantic mind is the pushback, and they are making their play. Their chess move is one piece move away from checkmate, and you have yet to respond, and they are closing their noose around you. And you think a biblical story of New Testament and Old is about to yield some supernatural power that will suddenly roll back this web they have built around you. Wolves in sheep costumes. Yes, says Annie. Herbert, Francis is going to get people killed. Yes, maybe I will. Maybe it's not a life worth living. Maybe fight now or live forever as a deeply restrained slave. The government created the coronavirus, says Clyde. Russell Vanta, Absa Bank will lay off 14,000 staff. This will become common news. Layoffs to become common news, says Dean Russell Vantanar. What a fine name. Herbert, 80% have mild symptoms. That's how you become after banging a native Philippine, says Nuno. I don't understand that comment. I travel far, I travel near. Many faces I have seen. You look familiar. Fling shot of life. Are you going to try and get us to drink some Kool-Aid so we can catch a comet and get off this flat earth? John Menzies Aviation lays off 17,500 staff yesterday. Mr. Vantanar is keeping count of the job losses. What else? Jobless is mooning. Yes, 3.8 million was it? Or 3.28 million unemployment claims. And boy, is that just the tip of the iceberg. Shortage of physical silver. Can't find it without 50% premium, Francis, says Declan Garrity. Will silver come? Make a comeback? Yes. The difference between paper silver and metal markets, real physical delivery, metal markets is huge. Locked in-house will cause more illnesses, scientific fact. Get your vitamin Ds, my friend. Stand out in the sun. Let's feel the sun on our backs. Let's feel the sand between our toes. Let's feel the grass under our feet. Get earth, get grounded, get vitamin D, dance, listen to music, play with an animal, preferably a domestic one rather than a wild one. War is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength, says Mangatar. Craig Neve, are you a singer from Midnight Oil? I may well be. Are you Australian? Are you missing the Midnight Oil? How can we sleep when our beds are burning? Yes, my friends. How dare we sleep while our beds are burning? Indeed. Great song that was. I think it went into politics after that. That worries me. Fala Koala, police everywhere in Australia, fines for moving across borders or within areas in some states. Thank you for that update. From Australia, fining, financial punishment for exercising your right to move. Eat bat and cat, Gary Zitzman. The Orwellian nightmare is here. Run for the hills. It's time for that Iron Maiden. Run to the hills, run for your life. Can't quite do a Bruce Dickinson. I think very few people can. Henry Lin, is the control structure pushing for WW3? Yep, if you want a picture of the future, imagine a boot stamping on a human face forever. That is Manjtwa. He brings us a beautiful image of slavery. One world Bolshevism. China owns some of the Aussie airports, so they are open to receive the viruses. I'm in Liverpool. I'm not going to get to watch them live the trophy. Great, we have been robbed from our crowning moment. They will be awarded, but it'll probably be some lukewarm isolationist man that does an elbow to the captain and lifts the trophy in a silent room where there's no crowd. What a rob. But I fear we have bigger problems than the granting of the Premier League title to the mighty Reds. V for Vendetta was right, says Skynet. The USSA, says Daniel OJ. Ropes of control are tightening. Why they hate us. There's too many to control easily. It's time the overpopulation. We're like a swarm of bees. We need reducing. Can all political establishments be all on the same page? What can we do? Of course they are. Who is cooperating with the narrative? Which country says, I believe not in this problem? I do the opposite. Which country didn't create a debt spiral and never took on debt beyond its means? Which country does not have over-leveraged banks and some form of a property boom? Which country does not have a draconian large state that grows bigger with every year? Which country does not have debt in US dollars? Which country is truly free and preaches libertarianism? Which country is not now smothering and suffocating, like killing your own children, the small and medium enterprise industries, and bailing out the big? Explain this to me and I shall be there. I shall teleport myself away like Star Trek to this beautiful land of milk and honey. Bitcoin, Antarctics, Mexico. Yep, they're all possibilities. Yep, one's a bit cold for my liking. But I'm afraid the peso is leveraged with the currency of the great Satan. Indeed, leveraged to the hilt, and its currency shall be slewn like a lamb to the slaughter, reduced to great pittance of its existence. They're going to start looking people down in their own suburbs in Melbourne, Australia, says Steve Cunningham. Australia, our dear land. Matilda, how low doth you go? Panama, says Daniel. Lieberland, Gordon Brown calls for one world government in these times. Listen to your Labour communist pig. Listen to your Bolshevik master that handed over the gold at the bottom of the gold curve in these QE inflationary times, that gave the gold to the control structure for a pittance of printed up $250 notes. Yeah, you can't go anywhere. None of the above. Okay, Barry, you keep typing Apple, bud. If you keep typing Apple and being a prat, I'm going to block you from this channel and you'll never come again. I'm done with people that repeat endlessly comments and cock it up for others. I will block and remove. I don't need numbers, mate. If you want to be a child, go somewhere else. There's a Pokemon site for you, or PewDiePie or something. Are prostitutes dropping their services prices? Yes, all things may become cheap in the search for cash. John Tyler, expiry dates on cash. The Principality of Sealand is supposed to be nice. Seal Land, yes, Seal Island. Boris Johnson and Prince Charles have the coronavirus, indeed. Henry Lin, Melbourne Victoria State Government signed up China's One Belt Road. Vic government taking orders from CCP now. Yep, wouldn't surprise me. What's your thoughts on sport in 2021? Will cricket and the other internationals come back? In a greatly impeded manner. It will never be the same. Your time of existence, of freedom to attend on a whim, a sporting event without prior booking and proving your status as disease-free, I think those days, my friend, are gone. The changes are coming, all in the name of keeping you safe. We have to surrender freedoms for our safety. The day you give up your freedom in the name of security is the day you sign your warrant to permanent slavery. Yes, that be the truth, in my opinion. Bribe and Rob Initiative. Nuno says, Francis, I like your channel. Don't block me for some nonsense comment. Don't make nonsense comments, mate. I won't block people unnecessarily, but if someone just ad nauseum repeats something 150 times in a chat and just ruins the experience for others, I will kick him out and he will be blocked from all my channels and Twitter feeds. I'm done with morons. Brave New World, Skoda La Skoda. Stuart King, North Korea. We are all North Koreans now, my friends. We are all communists now. We are all North Koreans now. Do you assess the next week will be all about the PMs? Get a boat, sail away, live by the law of the sea. Yep, you can for a bit, for a while, until you need greens. You'll need a floating garden of soil and a very benign sea. A student of history, just got here, 1984. Hi. Yep, guys, 480 of you on board. Thank you. It's 52 minutes. I want to keep this one shorter. I've been a little bit more dry and to the point, even though I still wax a little bit. 222 likes out of 480. I'm asking for a share. If you want to be part of managing your way and building up your coupons in the banks and then spiriting them away logically and smart into cryptos and hoping to do your best and spiriting them away into precious metals so that you can come out of this better than the other slaves, you know what to do. The link's below to book a chat. And the free stuff is below to have a little look at the free stuff. We never sell our list and we never spam. If we send one newsletter out a month, it's a lot. If you don't like it, you can unsubscribe immediately. We push nothing on anybody. Do not buy our coffee mugs because coffee can be bad for you in same way as trading. It can be addictive. So do not buy the coffee mug that says the reset and market sniper and warns you of the addictive tendency of trading in coffee. Do not buy the t-shirt. It is a merchandise. It is a logo, and it may keep you safe from the coronavirus. That's a complete lie, of course, but I'm just getting you used to not accepting everything people say. You can wear it over your face like a mask, and it will be as useless as many a useless mask. But you will wear a logo of distinction that said you were aware that there's a reset coming, that there's a method to watch the markets, and that crypto may play a role in this. You can be reset ready. Even if you're not, you can have a t-shirt. There you go. For free, nearly free, because those dollars will be worth nothing in time. Nothing at all. I will never give up my freedom, says Chris, in a Braveheart moment. You cannot take my freedom, I'm afraid. He came to a sticky end, and I fear for us, all of us that be brave, that a sticky end awaits us. Great show, very entertaining and spot on information, in my humble opinion. We are all scheduled for a new world shafting, says Michael Katz. Yes, Michael, I salute you and all your brethren, and I say, I think you are right. Do you assess that the new week will also be about PMs? I have no opinion on the markets. I will take my time on Sunday and assess and revoke my opinion for the week ahead. Remain calm and reflex. The fear and panic makes the herd manipulatable. Never act in, very good point, who beeth that man? Let me name him and applaud his greatness. Mecca is his name, M-E-K-A. So do not make snap decisions in fear. It is the amygdala response, and they expect to create that fear, and they expect it to do it. They predict it, and they are waiting there for you. Always take a time. Rarely do you need to act now. What applies in trading that I teach in trading applies in reset, sniperdom, and in life. Stop, think. How may they corral you into a different field and have you think you have bought your freedom? A field closer to the abattoir and easier to march into the gates of the slaughterhouse. Think smart, my friends. Think smart. These guys play a smart game. They have an intense grid. They have many long. A man with a plan beats a genius, I'm afraid. A man with a long orchestrated plan and the power that these have can beat many of us geniuses and not geniuses. Oh dear, yeah. Are stable coins a haven? They could be for a while. Just by being in blockchain, you won't have to bail a bank. Of that I am sure. But they might find a way to dilute you nonetheless. Do not submit to their behavioral finance. Stop and think. The impulsive response is the wrong response. There is a darkest hour, and I fear that darkest hour comes before us. Let's see if we can make it through the tunnel of darkness and see real light, the light of sun, not a forthcoming train about to blight us. Yep, I'm going to call it a snap. Do yourself a favor, share us for me. I thank you if you do. I like people who share. I like people who are respectful in the comments and do not be ad nauseum nuisances because they have a childish streak. I like people that give me likes, and it thanks and helps me for giving you an hour of time to bring this to you. Watch it. I will put the article that paraphrased so many of my thoughts for me so nicely in my Twitter, and I will post that article. So if you are following me on @themarketsniper, you will get the link. And until tomorrow, where I will come to you again with new thoughts, I say goodbye. I say goodbye. I say goodbye.